Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kara. Let me do a quick introduction of myself and then I'm going to turn my camera off. Because I'll be demonstrating some resources on this screen over here and I don't like looking at myself and I think it's distracting when you can see me looking away from the screen. So I'm Bobbi Newman. I am the Community Engagement Outreach Manager for Region 6 of the network of the National Library of Medicine. And we're housed at the University of Iowa and I am here in Iowa City. Turn my camera off. A quick word about who we are if you're not familiar with NNLM. NIH, or the National Institutes of Health, is the umbrella that we operate under, and their mission is to seek fundamental knowledge about the nature and behavior of living systems and the application of that knowledge to enhance health, lengthen life, and reduce illness and disability. The National Library of Medicine, or NLM, is one of the 27 institutes and offices at NIH, and it's the world's largest biomedical library. It produces online resources such as PubMed and Medline Plus. It also supports and conducts research, development, and training in biomedical informatics and health information technology. NNLM, or the Network of the National Library of Medicine, is an outreach program of NLM that provides education, outreach, engagement, and funding for health information. NNLM is made up of 7 regional medical libraries, 3 national offices, and 4 national centers that connect with over 9,000 member organizations. So our membership is organizational, not individual. And then Region 6 serves the state of Indiana, as well as 6 other states, and it's located at the University of Iowa Libraries. And we provide collaboration, training, and funding to over 1,100 health centers, health departments, community organizations, as well as public, medical, and school libraries in our 7-state region. NNLM's mission is to advance the progress of medicine and improve public health. We do that by providing equal access to biomedical information to health professionals, as well as equal access to quality health information for the general public, so they're better able to make informed decisions. And we do this by connecting with libraries across the country through our resources on our website, funding of projects, webinars, and training. Region 6, again, serves the states of Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio, and Wisconsin. If you're from another state and want to connect with your regional office, please feel free to send me an email and I will connect you with the right person in your office. So our goals for today have three objectives with this presentation. We'll be exploring the key challenges caregivers face. This includes discussing their health concerns, stress levels, and the difficulty they often experience in accessing reliable health information. Understanding these challenges is crucial to providing the right support. Next, we're going to highlight how public libraries play a vital role in supporting caregivers. By offering programs and resources that enhance health literacy, libraries can empower caregivers to access and effectively use reliable health information to make informed decisions for themselves and their loved ones. And then finally, we'll look at designing actionable strategies for libraries to develop programs and resources. And the goals with these are to address caregiver health information needs while also supporting their overall well-being and ensuring that libraries remain a cornerstone of community support. So a little bit about caregiving and caregivers before we get into the resources. I came across this quote from Rosalind Carter back when I started working at NNLM about 8 years ago, and I think it's even more true today than when she said it, which was prior to that. Essentially, there are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. It is affecting all of us, especially I think in the rural areas. So what is caregiving? Caregivers play a vital role in assisting with daily tasks such as bathing, dressing, eating, taking medications. They manage household duties, including housework, meal preparation, and ensuring that the home remains safe and comfortable. Caregivers often run errands like shopping for groceries, picking up prescriptions, or purchasing clothing or other essentials. Providing transportation is another key responsibility, helping individuals get to medical appointments, social events, or other necessary destinations. Caregivers often offer companionship, encouragement, and understanding to those that they care for. They often coordinate activities and medical care, from scheduling appointments to arranging therapies, and planning meaningful activities. Finally, caregivers often make critical decisions managing healthcare plans, handling finances, and advocating for the best interests of the person they're supporting. So, who is a caregiver? Caregiver is someone who provides critical support to a person who cannot fully take care of themselves. The person receiving care can be anyone, a child, an adult, or an older adult. Care needs are not limited to one age group, but often vary greatly depending on individual circumstances. There are many reasons someone might need a caregiver, such as experiencing an injury that impacts their ability to perform daily tasks, living with a disability that makes certain activities or routines difficult to manage, or coping with a chronic illness such as Alzheimer's disease, cancer, or other long-term conditions that require ongoing care and support. Let's talk a little bit, excuse me. Let's talk a little bit about stats for caregivers and their well-being. Caregiving is a widespread responsibility with about 53 million US adults providing care for loved ones. This includes spouses, elderly parents or relatives, and children with special. Many caregivers face significant challenges. 22% of caregivers must balance caregiving duties with full-time work. These duties often involve medical and nursing tasks, adding to the complexity of caregiving. Women are disproportionately impacted by unpaid caregiving, taking on the majority of these responsibilities in households. It sounds like we're having some issues with the sound. I don't know if Kara or um, somebody, I'll just keep going.
Well, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe you had turned your audio off for a second, like maybe you're coughing. I don't know. Did you do that, or did we just lose sound?
I did do that, but I don't know if something else is going on because they're saying skipping in and out. Okay.
Okay.
I'll
We'll see how it goes. Okay.
And then there's a unique group of caregivers known as the sandwich generation. These people are caring for children under 18 as well as caring for older adults in their lives. And this group makes up nearly a quarter of adult caregivers, highlighting the dual pressures that they face. I also want to talk about the health of the caregivers themselves. So caregivers are often putting the needs of the person that they're caring for ahead of their own, leading to the neglect of their physical health. Only 1 in 4 caregivers reports being in good physical health. Maintaining healthy habits is a challenge, as only 1 in 5 caregivers rate themselves highly when it comes to eating nutritious food and exercising regularly. Only 1 in 3 caregivers prioritize their own health care by keeping up with routine doctor visits and annual physicals. This lack of self-care can introduce long-term health risks for the caregivers themselves. The demands of caregiving significantly affect overall well-being. 41% of caregivers report low overall well-being, which is 32% higher than non-caregivers. The emotional and physical strain of caregiving often contribute to these feelings of reduced well-being. Mental health is another area where caregivers face serious challenges. Only about 23% rate their mental health as good. Many caregivers feel overwhelmed by their responsibilities, with 40% stating that caregiving has a negative impact on their stress level. Many caregivers feel overwhelmed by their responsibilities. Nearly half, 47%, report increased anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues over the past year, which is 62% higher than non-caregivers. The stress and emotional burden of caregiving can also lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms. Caregivers are 26% more likely than non-caregivers to report substance misuse issues, highlighting the need for better mental health resources and support for this group. And then finally, okay. And then I want to specifically talk about LGBTQIA+ caregivers because they have some different statistics in this group is growing, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. So caregivers who need care and those who need care who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, or asexual face additional challenges. 9% of caregivers identify as LGBTQIA+, highlighting a significant and growing segment within the caregiving community. Additionally, there are over 3 million LGBTQIA+ individuals aged 55 or older in the US. And this number is expected to double in the next 2 decades as more individuals are open about their identities. 20% of older LGBTQIA+ individuals and 44% of older transgender individuals fear their healthcare relationships would be negatively impacted if providers knew their sexual orientation or gender identity. And this indicates a persistent barrier to accessing equitable and affirming healthcare. And then lastly, older LGBTQIA+ individuals express higher levels of concern about issues like financial security, loneliness, declining physical health, self-care abilities, and having someone to care for them or lacking someone to care for them, highlighting the need for tailored support and resources for this community. So let's talk a little bit about libraries as community resource hubs for caregivers. Libraries are uniquely positioned to provide support for caregivers in a variety of ways. Libraries serve as a trusted source of vetted information, offering caregivers access to reliable resources from organizations like the National Library of Medicine and other reputable institutions. Libraries can host programs focused on stress management, self-care, and strategies for coping with burnout, which are invaluable for caregivers navigating challenging situations. By organizing caregiver meetups, support groups, or community events, libraries help reduce feelings of isolation and foster connections among caregivers. Libraries collaborate with local organizations, healthcare providers, and other community groups to deliver programs and services that help support caregivers. And libraries can offer practical tools like internet services, health-related programming, and other resources that make it easier for caregivers to find support and care solutions for themselves and their loved ones. Talk about a couple of programs that are specific for caregivers that you can use from the network of the National Library of Medicine. There are other resources out there too that you can find where people are doing programs for caregivers, but I like these because they're sort of built in for you already. This first one is a program in a box that we have put together, part of our mental health information community partnerships toolkit. So that toolkit is a comprehensive resource designed to empower community organizations, including libraries, but also healthcare providers, educators, to partner together in addressing mental health information needs. It has practical tools, guides, and strategies to establish partnerships and develop programs and promote community-wide mental health awareness. And as part of that, we developed 3 specific programs in a box, so we called them. And one of those was caregiver support mental health information. And this program includes 2 types of program. One essentially is considered a passive program, and then another one is an active program. The passive is one that takes less staff time and energy to do. And I can walk you through this website when I do the website demonstrations. The NNLM Reading Club did a month on caregivers and caregiving. And so then they pick 3 books that they feature that you could use to host a book discussion at your library in your community. And it provides guides to discussion questions and things like that, as well as information on the page for the topic. So if you go to this URL, you'll find information on hosting a book discussion if that's something that you're interested in. Tales and Travels is more of a program for the person receiving care, usually an elderly person. It's focused on dementia and Alzheimer's. So this was initially funded by the network of the National Library of Medicine. And the idea is that Tales and Travel encourages participants in immersive experiences. So music, video, books about destinations. So each 1-hour session essentially transports participants on a journey to a country or region of the US, using books, music, objects if you have them, folk tales, things like that, facts about the destination. And research has shown that programs like these stimulate memories and encourage conversations. So it ends up being a meaningful interaction for the caregiver and the person receiving care. This is from ALA. Is another one that it is focused on children, but again, caregiving looks like a lot of different things. And this came out a couple of years ago. It's the Service to Underserved Children and Their Caregivers Committee. And there's like a nice variety of resources on there about different types of programming and tools that you can do to do that. I also want to remind everyone that November is National Caregivers Month. So if you plan out your program really far in advance, you can start thinking about next year for Caregivers Month. And I included links to 3 websites that have resources to help you celebrate Caregivers Month. Excuse me, I'm going to cough again. They do release new stuff sometimes for the current year, but if you're planning in advance, the stuff from the previous year is also really helpful to have access to. So the National Council on Aging offers resources and information specifically for caregivers, toolkits, handouts, things like that. The Caregiver Action Network does similar things. They also host initiatives to increase awareness about caregiver needs. And then the Administration for Community Living is a government organization that emphasizes events and resources for caregiving and looking to connect caregivers with the support that they need. I also want to remind everyone that all of the regional offices and NNLM provide funding or subaward grants to the organizations in their regions. And we have funded a variety of programs aimed at caregivers in the past. This is just a link of a list of some of the titles for the different types of programs that we've done. But you can kind of see here, one of them involved lending out tablets with health information on them to assist caregivers. Another one looked at children with autism spectrum disorder, so another group that may need care, connecting heart and body, mindful connections, things like that. One that was focused on eating and living well, so that care for caregivers of their own needs and their nutrition and probably exercise as well. So this kind of just gives you a idea of the variety of projects that we funded. So if you're looking for funding, you can go to our current funding options now and look and see what's available for you. You can also connect with your regional office and just talk through or brainstorm funding options or ideas for funding. Most regional offices have someone that will work with you to help you fill out the grant and guide you on what we're looking for. Okay, and now I want to get into some information resources specifically, and I'm going to go through some websites. So I'm going to stop sharing my PowerPoint and switch to a web browser. Oops. Let's do this again. Okay. So the first website, this is the mental health toolkit that I have was talking about. So this has a variety of items that you can use. And if somebody wants to let me know if you want me to make the font on this screen bigger, I can hit the plus sign here. I gotta get chat back. Make it a little bit more viewable for you guys. Looks tiny to me. Okay, so this toolkit includes a variety of things that are available to you. One is just for a guide to establishing and maintaining. Okay, sorry, got a thumbs up on text size. Good. Establishing and maintaining community partnerships for mental health outreach. And then there is also a guide if you're looking for local mental health resources. So each one of these guides includes national resources, but obviously it's very hard for us to get into the state and even county and city level. And so providing a guide for how to locate good services for your specific community. And then one of the things we wanted to do with this is provide a one-page quick start guide. So if you don't want to read this guide, you can just take the abbreviated version here. And then we did do mental health resources bookmarks for Iowa. And you can see what those look like if you're interested in creating something for yourself. But here's this caregiver one, and these are all going to download as a PDF. And this gives you sort of everything you would need to justify the program to your partners, for other organizations, or to your library system, and gives ideas of who you could invite to be like guest speakers, for example. And then the active program is the goal is to bring caregivers together and provide them with instruction on online resources to help care for their mental health and well-being. So this would be an instructor-led presentation and a demonstration of health resources. And it even gives you sort of an outline of how to set up and give this presentation. And then the second part of it is what we call a passive program. And this is just to allow caregivers to connect with and support each other. And so rather than a staff member, say, giving a presentation, they're just going to be either coordinating the time for the caregivers to come together and meet, or maybe a guest speaker. They might provide resources or handouts, or maybe just a brief demonstration of one resource at each meeting, and so to kick off the 1 hour get together, you give, a 5-minute demonstration or a 2-minute demonstration of a site. And so that is in here as well. And then a list of resources. Again, these are the national resources. And these resources that are here are listed at the end of this PowerPoint presentation in the handout that you all received. Okay, so then I would like to demonstrate any questions about that toolkit, I guess, before I move on. Also, if you use this and have any feedback on it, I would love to hear it. We launched these earlier this year, and I'd love to. We don't really have a way to know if they're being used other than downloads, so I'd love to know if someone's using them. Okay, so Medline Plus is sort of our go-to site as a service from the National Library of Medicine, and one of the great things about starting here is it is free to everyone. It's accessible inside and outside of the library without login information. All of the resources and information on Medline Plus has been vetted by librarians at the National Library of Medicine. And that is true for the links out as well. It's one of the reasons I like to share it. And so I'm going to demonstrate a couple of pages from here. So I've gone straight to the page on caregivers, and all of our pages on Medline Plus sort of have these topics. So you'll have a summary, a start here, a learn more. If there was video or other interactive options, you would see those here. And then you'll see information about research, clinical trials if people are interested, help finding an expert, which is something people are often interested in, and then patient handouts. And I'll scroll down and show all of these. But I also want to show what I think is one of my favorite features about Medline Plus was just if you use this print button here on the page versus using the print in the browser, Medline Plus will convert all of the hyperlinks to URLs. So I don't know if you guys can see this on the screen, but any of these hyperlinks have actually been converted out to this URL. So it's a useful print resource to have if you print something for someone to take home. And I know people often, especially when you're stressed and you're looking for health information, want to have print information to take home. And so I also really advocate for libraries to allow printings from Medline Plus for free because of that, especially because it's so hard to get good up-to-date books on medical information these days. Many libraries have gone away from having a good print reference health collection because a lot of stuff has moved online, but also information just updates so quickly, right? Especially health information. Okay, so let's take a look at Medline Plus. You'll see a link. This is the summary I was talking about, and then you'll see a couple of boxes on the right-hand side. And Medline Plus also provides a medical encyclopedia. So it's giving links to related information that might be helpful for someone who is a caregiver. It also links out to related topics that things are relevant. So Alzheimer's obviously is a big topic, as well as dementia. And then caregiver health, which I'm also going to show you, and home care services. It's also telling us that of the National Institutes of Health, there is an agency or an organization focused on caregiving, and that's the National Institute on Aging. And I think I'm also showing that, excuse me, Medline Plus often provides health information in other languages on caregiving, and so you'll find that here. It doesn't have every language for each one. It always has Spanish, but the other ones you can see here that are available. Also includes some articles from the Medline Plus magazine. Sometimes they're interesting, but sometimes they're really useful. This 101, Caregiving 101 looks really helpful. And so then as you come down here, you're going to see that it's going to start linking out to other websites. And so, for example, it's tell you where it's linking: Family Caregiver Alliance, American Cancer Society, and each one of these links has been vetted by a librarian at the National Library of Medicine. So you can link out to these or include them and know that they're a trusted resource. So you can kind of see how you can dig deeper into each one of these. And then if people are interested in journal articles, and then again, find an expert. And this is one we often hear when people are looking about finding a caregiver or finding more information about home care for people. And then the last ones are patient handouts. And so these come from different places. So I'm just going to click on this one. So you'll see here then you could print this out and send it home as somebody as a starting place for this information. And I will show the other page that I think is particularly good. And this one is specifically focused on caregiver health. So that was sort of information about providing care. And then this one is about the health of the caregiver themselves. Similar layout again. You can kind of see the same layout at the top on every page and the resources that are here. The other thing about Medline Plus is it is written in a way that is meant to be accessible. There's a lot of research about the reading level of the population in the US. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I think the average reading level is like eighth grade baby or something. And so one of the things that researchers found is that content that is created as easy to read is helpful for everyone. Will there be a baby librarian? Yep, it is in the handout that you should have gotten from Kara. That is the PowerPoints and has a list of all the links at the end of the presentation. Let me know if you didn't get it. Oh, easy to read information is helpful for everyone. So what the research has found is that even people who have a higher reading level appreciate easy to read information when they're accessing medical information or when they're stressed out. And let's go next to our National Institute of Aging. And so this is the resource that generally is about aging in the US, but of course, then they have a section on caregiving. And this is one of my favorite sites, another one for print material that is available for you to print out and have available or send home with people. So, you can explore the resources in here. There's an article about getting started, but then they have these worksheets. And so these are your downloadable PDFs that would be helpful to provide someone coordinating responsibilities, safety check, questions to ask of providing a caregiver. So you can kind of see there's some really nice, handouts. And then you can also yourself, if this is a topic you're interested in, sign up for tips, but also the general public is able to sign up for this as well. And then they have taking care of yourself, tips for caregivers. And these are really important, especially if you're talking about providing care. And a lot of these websites from the National Institutes of Health have infographics and other resources you can use for social media so that you don't have to create your own, campaign or things like that when you're looking at promoting caregiving or doing programming around it. Let's go to the second page real quick. And so, again, another great resource from NIH. And you'll remember when I talked about the bulk of caregiving falls on the responsibility of women. So the Office on Women's Health then also has a page on caregiver and caregiver stress. So you can read through here different resources for caregiving and how it affects your health. And again, it has a downloadable PDF that you could print out and send home with somebody. Just click expand all, kind of see through this. And again, linking out to other resources that are available. People want to go through those options. Then one of the last resources I have for you in the PowerPoint is this caregiver training program. Now, this is from the VA, but one of the great things about resources from them and other organizations is it's available to anybody. You know, a lot of what is in here is applicable to everyone, even if you're not a veteran or the person that you're providing care for is not a veteran. So you can kind of look through this and see those resources. And then the last website I'm going to demonstrate for you all is the NNLM website. And I've got it open to Region 6, but I know there are a lot of you from other regions in here, so I'll give a larger overview. You can find your region here. If you're not familiar which your region is, there's a map and it will tell you which region you belong to. So somebody I think said Seattle, so you are Region 5. Georgia, you are going to be Region 2. And by clicking on that, you're going to get taken to the regional office that supports your area. You'll get some information. All of the pages look similar to this, where you can find current funding opportunities that are available. If you want to see what's available now, you will want to limit this to your particular region. So we are Region 6. And we have a couple of awards open right now. Oh, this one is closed. So we have one award right now. The other resources that you might be interested in from the homepage are training opportunities. So I'm doing this direct training for Indiana. I worked with Kara to plan this, but we also offer a wide variety of national webinars and classes that anyone can sign up for. And so this is just a kind of a quick overview of what's happening right now. They're obviously in chronological order. We do host a book discussion that operates on our quarters. So our fiscal year starts May 1. So they go in quarters for us, and anyone is free to join these. They are mostly online, and you can participate in a virtual one if you want, but you can also just participate asynchronously through Moodle. We also have classes like this one, which is Telehealth 101. So if you're interested in this topic, you can register for this class. It is an asynchronous class that takes place online over a couple of weeks. And then we have this one is a webinar. You'd sign up and attend a live webinar for that. And then we also have some free resources. Usually your regional office will make sure that your organization is a member. If you order free resources, but you can kind of see some regions just have them available for downloading, so you could download and print any of these. Some regional offices have funding to print these out and mail them out to you. It just varies by each region. I am going to stop sharing that and go back to sharing my PowerPoint. So you'll have a screenshot of each one of the resources I just demonstrated in the handout when you get it, if you don't have it already. And then here's this link, this page of additional resources that are available. And I just didn't walk through all of these because I think that's a lot. But you can see that these are focused on caregiver health and from a variety of resources that we put together for national organizations. And we kind of went through this on the website. Oh, consumer health information. I have another slide for that, but I'll go back to the website for that. So we looked at the educational classes and webinars that provide CE, funding for health initiatives, and then the promotional materials. And the last one is the sponsorship for the consumer health information specialization. Does anybody on the webinar have that specialization? Willing to volunteer in the chat that you have that? So that comes from the Medical Library Association. It is designed to help you increase comfort with providing health information and health services. So there are two levels of competencies. Level 1 covers competencies. Oh, Julie. Hey, Julie. Have competencies 1 through 5, and level 2 has competencies 6, 7, and 8. So the way you can get these is you'll need 12 CEs to get level 1 and any classes that cover the first 5 competencies. And again, for level 2, 12 CEs and any classes that cover competencies 6, 7, and 8. We have designed a on-demand module for each one of these. So you could go in, take the on-demand module for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you'll just need 7 more CE hours, which could be any class you want, webinars from us. There's a way on the MLA website to submit information or upload classes that didn't come from us, but you'd still like them to count. So you could take other health related topics. But you can see here, the goal is that you know the health information needs of your community or the health struggles that your community is facing. So it's teaching you how to find that information if it's not something you're familiar with. The goal of the second one is to help you understand how people seek health information, or the health consumer is how it's referred to. I know I still, coming from public library background, even after 8 years, I'm still not used to the consumer language, but that's the language that they use. And then knowledge of subject matter and resources. And that could be this on-demand class, but also could look like we have classes on rural health information, mental health information in general, things like that. Evaluating health information and health information resources, being able to answer the reference desk questions or provide instruction on health information. I think that was one that people particularly like. And then the last 3 for level 2 tend to be a little bit more technical. So looking at health literacy and health literacy in general and searching for health information, technology and how that's affecting health. And I just actually rewrote that class in the last year, and that was really interesting to do with AI. Coming into the existence, I guess, and how it could potentially affect health and health information going forward. And then the last one is just ethics and legal issues around health information. The other thing about the consumer health information is that NNLM will pay for you to get your CHIS. So I don't think I have this in the handouts, and I sincerely apologize for that, but you can find it on our website. Once you've gone through and charted your path for CHIS, the NLM sponsors the application fee. So the application fee has gone up to $99. It was $75, and so I just found out about the price change yesterday. And you can use this form for us to pay that fee for you for both level 1, level 2, and renewals. You'll get a badge and a little certificate from MLA once you do that. Back to my PowerPoint. So what next? I'm at the end, so this is time for questions. If you want to go ahead and start typing them in the chat box, and I don't know if you guys can unmute yourselves. I'll turn my camera back on as well. So, but what next for you? If you're not already a member of NNLM, or if your organization is not, take a look and consider joining. Membership is organizational, not individual. So you want to check and see if your library is already a member before signing up. You can register for no-cost webinars and classes. And then I included a link to the Region 6 newsletter. We have 4 different newsletters that we send out, a general one each week of just about things happening in our office. I write one specifically for public libraries. It is Region 6 focused, but each regional office has their own newsletter and or blog, and you can sign up for those. It's time for questions. Yes, membership is free.
Okay, thank you so much, Bobbi. That was wonderful information. And I am definitely going to include some of the things that you mentioned at the end. As far as CHIS, I'll put that in the follow-up email for everyone. Julie, you said a caregiver program in a box slide. What resource is that in? Oh, I can't. You're muted. Sorry.
Sorry, that is part of that mental health toolkit that I demonstrated. So it is, let's see, all the way back. So the website had this logo on it, and here's the direct link to that. This, you'll see this partway down the page where there's a one for rural health, connecting with the healthcare provider, and then this caregiver support program in a box. Oh, so feeling overwhelmed about where to start. That is, I definitely get it. So if you're going to pick one thing, I would say look at doing programming in November. If you're interested, you can look again at the program in a box that we did with the active and inactive ones that are just sort of set up for you right there. If you're looking for just one resource, start at Medline Plus. That is the easiest one. Those two from Medline Plus, the one that is information for caregivers and the information for caregiver mental health, are really great starting points for anyone. Tales and Travel, that is a good question. That is going to be located on their website, and I have the hyperlinks should be working in the handouts I sent. It was a struggle I had to get them to work correctly when I was turning it to PDF earlier this week. So you should be able to get this link from the handouts. We've done several. Mary Beth, who is in charge of that program and does a lot with it, we've done several presentations with her over the years. Oh, thanks, Julie. Yeah, so I really made sure everything is in the handouts. The links are in the handouts. If you can't find something there, just send me an email. I'll find it for you. I track it down. That's no problem at all. I guess I can put my information back on the screen too. Oops, get over here.
Okay, we do have a question or comment from Southern Indiana. We see many young families and caregivers who clearly need resources and programming. However, they might not be aware that they need help. How do you suggest marketing a new program helping caregivers of children of all ages?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you could that might look like not using the word caregiver. It might look like using the words parents or guardians of children, things like that, and getting that information out there. Are you trying to think of the wording? Sometimes I don't have kids, so I can't think of the words that they use sometimes. But people who, I guess caregiver might be the right word. People who are caring for a child, right? Do you want to come in and learn some information? I think one of the nice things too about some of these resources, like the Medline Plus, is they can be just added into other programming that you're doing. So, if you're doing a program for children, story time or something like that, you can add in at the end a pitch for here's a resource for parents, here's a resource for people who are taking care of children that you might need. It doesn't have to be a whole program for them. It can just be an added value added on the end, right? The CHIS is for anyone who wants it. So any library staff members are welcome to take those classes and to have their CHIS, their specialization. Oh, what did I do? I'm just going to stop sharing. Anybody who is available, it is available for anybody. So anybody who wants to get that works in libraries, don't feel like it's limited. Let's see, I saw another question. Great suggestion from the chat. So providing fresh mints, advertising a giveaway, a gift bag with useful items, providing a stimulus simultaneous program for kids while the adults are attending can help pull people in as well. Yeah. You could also just put stuff on the table as people are coming into the room, right? So they can see, pick one up and take it if they want to, that kind of thing.
Thank you so much, Bobbi, for doing this for us today. And I'm so glad we had so many people attend. You're getting lots of thank yous, of course, in the chat. But if anybody has any last minute questions, you can go ahead and put them in there. We're here till about 11, unless everybody's done before then. Yes, thank you, Bobbi, for everything that you guys do. So much good information.
I appreciate it. Apologies for the cough. It is that time of year.
That's okay. We can all relate. All right. And just as people are putting comments in the chat, I just want to remind everyone that I did send out the presentation to your email, anyone that was registered. However, I will be sending out a follow-up email. And so in that follow-up email, I will attach it again. And I will also add the information about the CHIS, just to make sure that you have the website for that. Everyone will get a certificate. I know some of you are from out of state and you may not need it, but I'm just going to send it to anyone that was here. If you don't need it, you can just trash it.
Oh,
All right. Well, lots of great information. All right. Does anybody else have anything else they want to ask Bobbi before we wrap up? Okay, well, I think that we've gotten pretty much all the questions answered. So, Bobbi, thanks again. So happy to have you present and so happy to have you to work with. Okay, so thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day. I will be sending out that follow-up email, so look for that. And like Bobbi said, if you have specific questions for her, you'll have that information too. So, all right, thanks, everyone. Have a good day.